Next, we have Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind, and of course, we're the board for the schools for the deaf and blind. So we'll start off with our USDB budget report. Carl, MP is the finance director. Are you on and ready for your report?
I am on, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and board members. It's a pleasure to be here. I am reporting our financial report through the first 9 months through March 31st. We are fiscally and financially solvent. We had more revenues than we did expenditures. Our revenues approximated, and I'm just going to round, 30.2 million. Our expenses were 29 million, and so we had about 1.2 million more in revenue than we did expenses. The number of students served were, as of March 31st was 1,709 students. Our land grant enrichment fund balance is $1,090,512, and our donated fund balance is $1,257,315. And that is the financial report. The budget status report that is your attachment just gives all the supporting detail for those numbers. I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone may have.
Thank you, Carl. Any questions or comments on our
Board member,
budget update?
Board member Cannon.
For Cannon.
Yes, thank you. I have two questions. One is on the budget status report. When you're talking about the enrichment fund collection from trust lands,
Yes.
You show $465,000 roughly, and the budget is almost double that. What is the reason for the change in those figures?
It's just the timing of when we receive the transfers, Board Member Cannon. So we anticipate receiving another transfer that should get us up to that $1 million amount.
All right. Thank you. May I ask another question?
Yes, follow up. Yes.
On the enrichment fund project list, you show a study abroad in India and a study abroad in Scandinavia. So my question is, where does the money come for that for those enrichment funds, and how many students are being serviced by these study abroads?
The funds, Board Member Cannon, come from the land grant enrichment program from the funds of the state lands that were enabled to us back when the state entered statehood. So we get those, and that's that $1 million amount that we get approximately every single year. The study abroad going to India, there's 10 students that were going to be going on that trip. They had to cancel both those trips, obviously, because of COVID-19. We've spent funds. They're on hold. The travel agency will hopefully reimburse us for that trip and also the Scandinavia trip as well. And I think that for the Scandinavia trip, we had approximately about 7 students going on that trip as well. They open it up statewide to all students that are deaf and blind, and they have to go through a rigorous process in their application, and they have to do a lot of coursework in preparing for it. And so we try and make it as broad as possible to extend that opportunity to all students throughout the state.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your answers, Carl.
You're welcome. While you're talking about enrichment funds, let's just talk about of the $1.6 million, we spent $684,000, and there's a remaining $321,000 that may be spent by now through the end of the year. And the reason why I say maybe is because a lot of the summer camps are on hold right now, and we don't know if they're going to be conducted or not. We anticipate that there'll be about $123,000 at the end of the year that will remain unspent of the current $1 million distribution for the year.
Is any other questions on the budget report? Because the next item is the fiscal year 21 Enrichment Fund review and approval. If there's any other questions on the budget?
No hands. No
Okay.
hands.
Mr. MP, Carl, do you want to go to the next item, which is, and we'll bring that up, the Enrichment Fund project list.
I'd
And
be
this
happy
comes
to do
before
that.
the board, and we approve it, and it's vetted. There's some vetting that takes place, but go ahead.
Yeah, we have worked on with associate superintendents and with Superintendent Coleman to identify the programs for fiscal year 21. And you can see what those programs and trips are that are on the list. We total about $1,084,000 of projected programs for the year. Now, Mr. Chair was just describing the vetting process. Our advisory council has a subcommittee that meets and discuss all these projects, and they raise a number of questions every single year to both the associate superintendents and to Superintendent Coleman. They met back on April 21st, and then the advisory council met and approved their recommendations, and making the recommendation to you as a board on April 27th to approve these projects and programs. Are there any questions you may have in regards to the programs?
Questions?
Board Member Earl?
Board Member Earl?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. My question is on, I believe it's GenNote. Exactly what, and do you know exactly what that entails? I just thought it was a interesting program. I wanted to know just a little bit more about that.
It's a music training program for the blind students. We've spent historically about $20,000. We partnered with them over the last 3-4 years, and it's a very successful program, and the blind students have really benefited from it. And so we've expanded it. GenNote has actually spent more than the $20,000 they billed us. So we've expanded that amount to $30,000 this year to reflect the actual cost of the training that they are providing to the school.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments? Proposed action?
No hands.
Anyone in the queue?
No.
So
So, Mr. Chair, Huntsman, we would look to have a vote to have these projects approved,
yes,
if you could, please.
that's where I'm going is this list goes before us, and we've asked for that annually. And so is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 21 Enrichment Fund list? Anyone in the queue to make?
I'll move that, Chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Chair Huntsman.
Okay. That was Board Member Marsh. So the motion before the board is to approve the fiscal USDB fiscal year 21 Enrichment Fund list. Any comments?
No hands.
Okay, seeing none, let's vote. This will be a roll call vote. Member Belknap.
Aye.
Member Belknap.
Aye. Did it work?
Yes.
Aye.
Member Bolter. Member Bolter. Member Cannon.
Aye.
Vice Chair Cummins.
Aye.
Member Davis.
Aye.
Member Earl.
Aye.
Member Gravitt,
Aye.
Member Hanson,
Aye.
Member Haynes,
Aye.
Member Lear,
Yes.
Member Marsh,
Yes.
Member Nielsen, Member Newell, Member Newell,
Yes.
is that Sean?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I didn't get your vote. Sorry, I didn't. I didn't
Yes.
vote for you.
I keep getting muted from somewhere, but yes, my vote is
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Member Thorpe,
Aye.
for Hensman's an aye. I'll go back to Member Bolter.
And I just wanted to say when it's screen sharing, I can't find my microphone. I have to like do a full screen and get myself out of screen sharing in order to find my microphone.
Okay. Well, we'll be patient to this voting process. So thank you. And then one more call out for Board Member Nielsen, who said he'd be in and out. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Carl MP. Appreciate the work that you're doing there.
You're welcome. Can I just mention one other item, Chair Huntsman?
You bet. Is it okay? See what it is. I'm not seeing another item on the agenda, but go ahead.
And the reason why you don't is we normally submit our next fiscal year's budget in this board meeting that you're having today. However, due to the uncertainty of the tax revenues collections at the state level, we received a notification 2 weeks ago to restore our budget, to roll back our fiscal year 21 budget back to fiscal year 20 base budget. And so we just got some further direction 2 days ago, and we're wrapping up that budget preparation, and we'll submit that to you for the next month in June board meeting. We'll present our annual forecasted budget. So just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay, we'll make sure it's on the agenda. And then there's quite a few tweaks and changes we'll be talking about later today and again tomorrow with what's happened with the legislature. So thank you, Carl.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And next we'll have Superintendent Joe Coleman give the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So our report today really focuses on just four things. The first, of course, is the students who always come forward first in what we do. We're keeping a close eye on them and our teachers and others who are still providing services, doing a very good job. We know there are a few, but I would say 98% are really doing well considering the circumstances. The few that are not are still getting lots of attention, but because of family circumstances or other things, it's sometimes just difficult to connect. We've been sending out hotspots, providing internet access, and as I've interacted with the other superintendents in the League of Innovative Schools around the country, I realize how good we have it. They're also on the cutting edge, and they were very well prepared for this, but they have demographics and challenges without some of the support that we have. And so I just thought I'd share that with the board and let them know how grateful we are for the setup that we've had all along. Generally, the students and the families are doing very, very well still, even after, we monitor them each week, and our teachers connect with them each day. And so thumbs up there for now, as well as could be expected. The next item I have for you is a very exciting, I guess we probably, I don't know if we have, looks like she's not online, but I just wanted to formally congratulate Susan Patton, we were hoping to be in person or at least have her on video, but
I'm here, Joe.
Oh, hi, Susan. How's it going?
Right there. I think I turned my camera on right there.
Oh, great. Everyone, this is Susan, who you already know and you've seen before, but Carolyn, of course, until the end of the school year is still running things, but Susan has been in on all of the decision-making and our powwows, which are very unique during these circumstances right now. And so, Susan, I just wanted to know, give you an opportunity to say hi and introduce yourself to the board real quickly.
Thank you. Well, I really appreciate this opportunity. I am excited and overwhelmed at the same time, which I know that all of you can relate to those feelings. They're just a little bit new to me. So I've been with the School for the Deaf and the Blind for over 20 years as a paraeducator, as a teacher, as a director, and now as an associate superintendent. So I feel like I do have a good feel for our school climate, and I love the vision of the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind and want to continue that. I really have a good relationship with our teachers. Well, I feel like it's a good relationship. I hope they feel the same way with our teachers in both the deaf school and the blind school. So I'm just really excited for this opportunity. I thank you all for the appointment because I just am very humbled by it and excited to move forward. And these are going to be challenging times, and I just hope that we're all kind of in it. We'll just get through it together and hopefully be better on the other side of this. So I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any of you have any questions for Susan?
Any questions, comments from board members to Susan?
There are no hands.
Okay, I just want to thank you for the fact that you did apply for that position. And we're very glad that you're on board, and we're looking forward to many wonderful betterments and in our schools. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
And Susan is close to replacing herself already. And so we should have another announcement soon, probably at our next board meeting.
Yes.
Okay, the next item I have, Mr. Chair, is we wanted to talk just briefly about the budget cuts that Carl Empey mentioned. He told you that we've been working with the legislative fiscal analysts, and they've instructed us to submit different scenarios to them. And so internally, for the last week or so, we've gone through the administration from the directors up to the superintendency level, and we have looked at our unit budgets to try to just squeeze everything out of there. Of course, our unit budgets have actually been static the last several years, and I think our leadership here at the director and principal level has done a really good job of working within their means and managing their own budgets. That's a skill set that we had them develop over the last several years that was not previously required. And so there's not much to trim there, but then, you know, the rest, over 80% of our budget is personnel, and it's not stuff and overhead and all that. And so we've been looking at different ways to configure things and so forth, having no idea what the legislature will actually come up with and what the forecast will show. But I just wanted you to know we've spent a lot of time on that in the last week or week and a half. And I think our projections or our proposed scenarios are due to the LFA tomorrow by end of day. And so I would like to maybe I'll share that with the chairman once we get through that, and maybe put a call into you, Mark, if that's okay, and just discuss what
we're following the same parallel process to a certain degree at USBE on some other things. So as this is moving forward, Superintendent Coleman, we're going to have board meetings every Thursday up all through the end of the month as we're dealing with some of the challenges that are before us in the budget, on the budget side, and then also of what schools are going to be looking like this fall. So we'll keep you in the queue, and we have opportunities to brief the board along the process. So I'll stay in touch with you on that.
That would be great, and I'll chat with you about what our thought process has been. And of course, nothing is set in stone. These are very hypothetical at this point. But the internal process, as we have analyzed and reconfigured things here and there, it's actually been beneficial for us to try to ferret out additional places where we could maybe be doing things better. And that's one of our fundamental values here. So it's, you know, there is a silver lining to the pain as well. And I just wanted to make sure that you all knew that our folks are very open-minded to that kind of thing and doing their very best, while also trying to preserve all the good that we can.
Okay.
And the last item I have, we just wanted to notify you about graduation. We are going to be, we've been consulting with the Salt Lake Department of Health, and we've had, of course, meetings with all the superintendents in the state as well, seeing what they're doing. And we have 15 students who are graduating in our graduating class this year, which is about the average. We have anywhere between 10 to 15 each year. And so we are moving ahead with plans on June 4th. We're pushing it out as far as we can there. And we're going to do it on our Salt Lake campus, but instead of doing it in the auditorium like we normally do, we're going to do it in the gym. And so that we can appropriately distance families from each other. We're going to be limiting the number of family members that can come and limiting our own staff that's going to be there. But we plan to have a nice graduation. We've consulted with the students themselves, and overwhelmingly, they did not want to have a virtual graduation. But we feel fortunate in a way that we have such a small class. Superintendent Dixon is even the one that put the thought into my mind that that might be possible. And so that's the plan so far, and you will receive more information to come for that. We also, actually, the governor offered to videotape a graduation message for us, which we thought was very nice also.
Good. Okay, well, did you have anything else on your report?
I think that's all I have for now, unless there are any questions by the board members.
Can you speak to when Carolyn's finishing up? We're gonna have a chance to see her before she moves on to the next chapter of her life.
Oh yes, and Carolyn's on the call today. She's very much engaged still until the end of this year, of course. But hopefully we can do something that way. We've been talking about that, maybe some options on doing something, but we certainly don't want her just to go away quietly, so to speak. We would like to celebrate her tremendous service and her career here. And so we will.
I think it's important for her that she comes before the board before she retires officially. So I know we've got a meeting coming up next month, but let's keep that in mind if we could.
I agree. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that there can be something of a reception, even if it's socially distanced or whatever, because something like, just like the students wanted a graduation in person, this is such a relationship based industry that we're in, that when something like this happens, we want to definitely send her off with our love and our well wishes in person if at all possible. So we'll try to arrange something like that if possible.
All right. Thank you. Questions or comments from board members?
Board member Cindy Davis.
Board member. Which I didn't get the name, but go ahead.
I was just wondering if you are going to, I don't know if there are privacy things that preclude this or not, but I was just wondering if you're going to put the graduation on any type of filming or live stream. This was one I was going to had on my calendar this year. If not, I'll just attend next year, and hopefully we will all be in a better place and you can accommodate lots of folks. But is there a way for us to see this graduation this year?
Yes, that's a great question. There is. We will be live streaming for the family members that are not coming. We're looking at only having each graduate invite, their parents probably, and then the rest of the families can watch at home. And so there will be a link available to those of you too. And we haven't asked chair yet, but of course the chair of the board or a designee is welcome to come and make comments. And so we'll let you decide that as a board. And then I have to tell you, we've been so grateful for the support we've received from you board members over the past few years. It used to be that board members didn't even show up. And so that really means a lot, Cindy. But yes, there will be a link to watch virtually.
Okay, we'll make sure that gets shared. Any other questions or comments from board members?
There are no hands.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Cummins. Superintendent Coleman, thank you for all that you're doing, and you express our appreciation to all your staff and to the parents. I just constantly hear wonderful things through the challenging times, especially almost daily communication, and that now that can't happen really in a lot of education scenarios because some of these teachers have 30 plus. So thank you for all that you're doing, and let's continue to stay in touch. Take care and be safe.
Okay, thank you very much. It's good to have a few minutes with the board today.
Thank you. I think Vice Chair Cummins is going to say something about hands or muting or something.
Yes, if everyone can check their microphones, please.
Okay.